Here we are once again. We're here in Bulawayo to meet this gentleman, the man who served his constituency with honor and dignity, Abednico. I'm talking of the organizing secretary of the Movement for Democratic Change 2014 structures. We are here in this office because we are from the High Court. There's an urgent chamber application which Mr. Bhebhe has challenged. As you can see right now, Mr. Bhebhe is challenging the courts to stop the scheduled MDC T Extra Ordinary Congress to be held this coming Saturday, the 19th of December 2020. We are here in his office, perusing through and seeing why Mr. Bhebhe has challenged the MDC court to stop. As you can see, this is an interdict which has been served.
Expulsion or every disciplinary action within 2 months before any crucial election, that is the national elections and the party congresses. The reason being you don't want to disenfranchise other members who might be vying for certain positions. But I see now that has been put under the carpet, and we are saying now we want to revisit the issue of the general rules that we have as a party, and the issue of our own constitution. Was it followed, or is it followed when those such kind of decisions are followed?
Yes, Bhebhe, we heard you were suspended. Some of the people told us that you have been fired from MDC T. We don't know the outcome of the suspension. We heard that you were challenging them. Have you sat down? Have you been given the reasons why you were suspended, or if you were fired, if indeed you were fired from MDC T?
The reason why I'm going to court, Ezra, is because the constitution of the MDC has been violated by whoever decided to write a letter to me. First and foremost, I just want to read a clause that pertains to the issue of the disciplinary processes that take place in our political party. The first one that I just want you to understand, Ezra, is that there is Article 8 of the Code of Conduct of our political party. Article 8 provides the general provisions applying to all disciplinary proceedings. And Article 8.1 puts it clearly. I want to read. Any member caused of any act, any member accused of any act of misconduct shall be entitled to a written, I want to emphasize that, notice of the hearing, which notice shall specify the allegations of misconduct or charge 7, which is in this case 7.14. Any organ or individual suspending any member in terms of this constitution shall specify, clarify the grounds of suspension, and shall define and identify the breach or offense that the member or organ is accused to have committed. These are clear provisions. And if you
This
look
is the MDC Constitution.
this is the MDC Constitution. This is the MDC Constitution. And it's very clear on that one. But in this case, we have got a president who actually claimed that she's a constitutionalist, where a case was taken to court not by her faction, but the other faction of the MDC, which was led by Chamisa, is the one that took the case to court, right? For the same person to come back to me and they claim that he is suspending me or firing me because I've joined another political party, he's upset.
Have you joined another party?
There's no political party that I've joined, because when I received my suspension letter, I had actually contested as a candidate for the Extra Ordinary Congress. And in actual fact, I actually contested and they beat the rest of the candidates. And of course, because there were irregularities, we then agreed not to count the results. But square and fairly, I had beaten those candidates. So how then do you suspend me after contesting you and beating you?
Right. Let's make this clear to the people. You were going as a party, province by province, nominating who is supposed to contest as a president.
Yes.
You put your name.
We knew that you can unite the party. Therefore, we want to nominate you as the replacement for.
I tried to get the reasons why you have been suspended for a long time. There are no answers from MDC T, the spokesperson, Upukeni, but we only hear that the reasons are that you joined another party. So we're trying to say, which party did you join? Do you belong to another movement or an organization which is?
Let me explain this. There was an application by a party organizing secretary of a district in Gokwe called Mashavile, because there was a belief that a party constitution had been violated, and rightly so. The High Court granted that application to Mr. Mashavile. After granting the application to Mashavile that the party constitution was violated, MDC, as led by Nelson Chamisa, as the president of the MDC, and the Morgan Committee then as the chairman of the MDC, decided to appeal against the High Court ruling to the Supreme Court. Now, the Supreme Court then gave a judgment that anyone should believe that it actually binds MDC T led by Thokozani Kupe and MDC Alliance led by Nelson Chamisa, because Nelson Chamisa had actually appealed that judgment, the High Court judgment. Therefore, you cannot now say, as the National Organizing Secretary of that is a lie, that is vindictive, that is too personal. Thokozani Kupe will not get away with this.
So, in other words, they wanted to prevent those people who went to the MDC Alliance, yet they belong to the 2014 structures.
Exactly.
So they were supposed to be excluded from this Congress.
Actually, the idea is they want to exclude them because they know if they bring the genuine 2014 structures, none of them is going to win.
Okay.
You cannot be an opposition political party that blames ZANU-PF for rigging when you are actually the first-class riggers. You are actually rigging more than ZANU-PF. Because ZANU-PF itself would not violate its own constitution in the process of their rigging. But you guys are actually violating your own constitution in the process of rigging. So you are worse off than ZANU-PF.
Bhebhe, you were very close to Madam Kupe before. You even went on to, when the MDC, Nelson Chamisa and all others went on to the other side, you decided to go for your own Congress with MDC T. What happened? You were very close to her.
I want to be honest with you, Ezra.
Yeah.
When this thing happened, there was a lot of anger, there was a lot of fighting, especially with the issues that had happened 3 times where I was part of the people that had their rights violated.
Yeah.
The first one, there was a group of young people that came from Harare, which we wouldn't even know we had sent them. That came whilst we were holding a meeting in our Bulayo office. They came and vandalized the office first and started beating people clandestinely in a meeting. And that meeting was attended by myself, Thokozani Kupe, and Love Momo. The second incident was when and with dialogue, we solved those problems that had actually generated that kind of violence. But in the process, time was not on our side. And in the process again, it looked like, as we had already envisaged, that the taking over of Chamisa, the MDC presidency, was unconstitutional. And we were then vindicated. Which is why then I decided to go along with Thokozani Kupe. Now that the court had given us the second chance, it was now my duty to make sure that we utilize the second chance as per the Supreme Court to unite the party and go at a united extraordinary Congress so that whoever wins there takes over from Morgan Tsvangirai. That's basically what had happened. Right. But in the process, I want to explain this. Thokozani Kupe seems not to want anybody who is coming from the MDC Alliance faction to be part of the Congress. And that is the fight that is there between me and Thokozani Kupe. And my fight is, we will not do such kind of a thing to perpetuate one faction of the MDC to claim ownership of the MDC. That is wrong, that is not right, that is undemocratic, and that is illegal. And the sooner Thokozani Kupe and crew knows that, the better.
You were suspended. How far has it gone? After the suspension, we heard that we have been expelled from the party. Now this is you have gone to the court. This is the 3rd time now.
See, the reason why I started by reading the Constitution is I wanted to clear
Congress, which is for this coming weekend, to select or elect a new president, because my Coupe or Madam Coupe, Umamu Coupe, she is the acting. Once again, let's emphasize that she is the acting president of the movement for democratic change T. Now they want a new leader. She was contesting with the Honorable Bhebhe-The, understand SG Umonzora, understand the chairperson Ukomichi, with Ukupe. So in Bulawayo, the elections were held. This was the first part, and Mr. Bhebhe-The triumphed and won. After he won the Bulawayo to lead, then we heard that it's been suspended, has now been expelled, and the other contestants, and nothing happened. So the other people, if I may call Mr. Bhebhe, Monzora was with Alliance before, Committee was with Alliance before. Now yourself, you didn't go anywhere, you were with Copy on MDC T. Therefore, after the Supreme Court ruling, as per the ruling, you decided to say, all the 2014 structures come together, we elect a new leader. Just because you put your name forward, you believe that you've been suspended.
Exactly. It's not about my believing that it's been suspended.
It is.
It doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand and realize that there is something fishy here. If I was wrong all along, why wait until the nomination process has started? That's $1 million question that Coupe and crew have to answer. That's point number one. Point number two, why just decide to write a letter of suspension or expulsion? Actually, the issue is here. Let me explain this. When Mnangagwa, in quotations, claimed to have won the elections, or it was said he had won the elections, or put it clearly and said he won elections, he then decided to invite losing presidential candidates. There were two processes that were supposed to happen if that invitation was done properly. One, Thokozani Coupe was supposed to come back to the party, ask for the mandate from the party to go and attend Poland or not. She did not do that. She decided to go and attend the Poland without first seeking the mandate of the party. That's point number one. Point number two, when the Supreme Court judgment came out, Thokozani Coupe was supposed to convene the necessary organs of the MDC that had been convened through a Supreme Court judgment, or reconfigured through a Supreme Court judgment. He was supposed to call the right organs, in particular the National Executive and National Council, to seek the mandate to go and participate in the Poland. But in this case, those two things she did not do. Those are clear signs of dictatorship. If we talk of dictatorship, we talk of leaders that do not consult but decide to do things on behalf of their organization, which is what you do.
Okay, I hear you.
68, clause 68 of the national constitution that deals with the rights of individuals. Those constitutions, two of them have been violated, and I don't see the Supreme Court, the High Court, going against the violation of double constitutions: one, the party constitution, and second, the national constitution.
Why did you do that? Why didn't you stop it on the day when they suspended you, and they decided to wait for a few days before?
Unfortunately, I did not stop because the first application that I had was put forward at court on the 8th of October 2020. Here is it, I've got it. And they decided not to respond to that application.
But in terms of
I've given you the wrong court application. The actual court application was actually on the 8th of November, not 8th of October. Okay. On the 8th of November 2020, where I was appealing to the High Court to intervene and reverse the suspension. And in this case, my colleagues did not respond to that.
Yeah, but what does the law say if someone doesn't respond?
Well,
the judgment,
I'm not
no, in terms from the layman or from my understanding, if there's no one responds, judgment favors you.
Right. Let me explain this. They did not respond.
Right.
But instead, what they decided to do, they decided to write another letter. This time it was a letter. I came back, I then gave instructions because it was 6 days, almost like 5 days later when they got hold of me. I then came back, I gave instructions to the lawyers to actually deposit another application with the High Court to challenge the expulsion now this time around. So because I've now got two applications, one for reviewing the suspension and the other for reviewing the expulsion. Remember, the first one was not responded to, and the second one, which is reviewing the expulsion again, has not been responded to as yet. But realizing that time is not on our side, I have therefore decided to put forward an internship to stop everything until the two applications have been heard.
Right. Okay, so looking at all these applications, if they don't respond to this, go ahead with the Congress, what happens?
I don't think that they will be in contempt of court because they have to respond to the one. And
because I'm wondering why these courts are not responding, are not making judgments following your appeal there.
Well, the court will not make a judgment before you request for a default judgment. So in this case, it was, a case where there was no need to apply for a default judgment on the suspension when there's already an expulsion. Okay. So we had to deal with the expulsion first, so that the two, if you read my interdict,
yes,
it enjoys the two now.
Right.
Already we are coming to the court for the
Do you know why Nelson Chamisa didn't challenge his expulsion?
Well, I won't know why. I won't know why. Because remember, a lot of things that happened, as I said earlier on to you. Okay. When the MDC split in 2018, there were two formations that went different ways. But the Supreme Court judgment now has bound two formations to come back together and go for Congress. So, for whatever reasons, maybe Chamisa has decided not to be part of MDC. I don't know. That maybe he can be the best person to answer.
Has he been trying to maybe talk to you that maybe he's just...
Well, I've spoken to Chamisa and I speak to Chamisa on several occasions. Yeah. And according to the conversation that we have had, he has not shown me any signs of not wanting to be part of the...
He wants to be part of it.
Extraordinary Congress.
He wants to be part of that.
Of course, he wanted to be part of that, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, as far as I'm...
But because he was expelled.
But because of whatever happened between her and Chamisa and her and Kutokozani Kube, and whatever decision that he decided to take, well, I will not know.
So, in other words, you were eyeing the presidency because the people actually pushed you. I saw a lot of communication from the people saying, Bhebhe, do you know why the people wanted you out of all of these? They decided to say, please, Bhebhe, contest. We want you as our leader.
Well, for those that approached me, they actually asked me to stand because they believe that because I was the only leader out of the leaders.
Well, not compromised.
One, I was not compromised. Two, I was talking unity. And three, I was emphasizing that the Supreme Court judgment was a blessing in disguise in terms of bringing the two warring factions of the MDC together. So that has always been my language. And I believe that kind of language resonated with the rest of the people, particularly those that support MDC, its members, and its sympathizers.
Do you realize that the people of Zimbabwe believe that they've been shortchanged by the opposition? They don't have opposition in Zimbabwe, as we speak. The chaos in this party is shocking.
I do realize, Ezra, but a struggle or a revolution takes a lot.
Have you ever seen a party which is not in government having so many factions, having so many fights?
Oh, yes. Process, and which is what I believe is happening in the MDC.
But looking at the way you are talking about the revolution, you were in the struggle, but the people are moving out to form their own political parties. What is in this name? Everyone wants to be MDC. Why? When the people left Yozapu, joining, they made ZANU, they made NDP, they made all those parties, ZANU, whatever, and all that. But in this MDC, everyone is fighting for the name. We had before MDC original, had MDC which was Welshman, we had MDC N, we had MDC 99, we had MDC T, now MDC Alliance. What is in this MDC? What is there? Can you tell the people what is in this MDC? If you please be open and tell me why all of you fight for this name, why all of you want to be called MDC. Because if you can call it a Bhebhe political party, it can work. Why do people love this name? Is there anything which we don't know, which the viewers or listeners don't know? Why everyone wants to use the MDC?
Well, again, I want to take you back to the revolution, the liberation movement. During the liberation movement, the reason why names kept on changing is the regime that was there would ban a certain name by a presidential decree or through an act of parliament. They would ban a particular political name to be used as a political party. Therefore, the liberation movement would then be forced to adopt another name, right? So in this case, you would find that names were changing then because of those reasons. But in this case, it's no longer the same because you have a movement that has been formed and that has got a name that is known by the nation that this is the name, and that name has not been banned. And in the process, I'm sorry to say this, there's these two groups of people within the opposition movement. The ones that appear like it is being fought for by these two groups of people.
Right. What's next for MDC? Do you think the people of Zimbabwe should still have faith and hope with MDC?
Well,
or people of Zimbabwe should forget that there's no opposition?
No. I don't think that's good enough. If the liberation struggle took more than 15 years fighting through a barrel of a gun to achieve independence, and surely for this other fight, which is a democratic fight, we cannot expect it to be shorter than the one that was fought through.
How long was the liberation struggle?
Well,
this is MDC is 20 years.
No, it was the liberation struggle is actually more than 20 years if you
really
count all other stages that took place before some of us.
But those people had direction.
Remember,
those people had direction. You had direction, Bhebhe, when you're fighting.
No,
you were focused.
The direction was there.
You never spent your time. Elections were held, Mr. Bhebhe. Elections were held in 2018.
The direction was there because there was only one understanding and one cause that was believed by the people. But in this case, there are two groups of people. Remember last time during the liberation struggle, it was one forming a political party or leading a political party would give you some financial benefit. And the reason why is we have lived a life under ZANU-PF where ZANU-PF has perpetuated political corruption, including state corruption, right? To actually make or amass wealth. And therefore, there are some people that believe
but
that
they are saying your
MDC
is inheriting the DNA of ZANU-PF.
There are certain leaders. It's not MDC. MDC is just a name. It's not the supporters of MDC. Supporters of MDC know what they want. But it is part of the leadership within MDC, which are either influenced by the regime or they've been infiltrated by the regime, or they are seeing opportunities of plundering like what the regime is doing.
But Bhebhe, I hear you, but still I'm not satisfied. Is this 1999 or September 1999 when you formed, you were part of the people who formed Movement for Democratic Change. I don't see any founding values, the objectives of the movement. I'm saying the people who are after power, the people who are after money. I'm seeing corruption in opposition, just like in the ruling party. I'm seeing the infighting because people want positions. I'm seeing the dictatorship from both sides, the alliance and the MDC itself.
The two of them, it's not the first time that I've spoken to him. I had a meeting with Nelson Chamisa, and I had a meeting with Tozani Kupe when I was trying to bring the two leaders together. Initially,
after the Supreme Court.
Yes, after the Supreme Court. Initially, the two leaders had actually agreed. And when I went for the second round, Tozani Kupe then decided to disappear and he was not answering my phones, neither was he responding to my messages.
Nelson Chamisa was still answering.
But Nelson Chamisa was still answering. Meaning that at least if both of them had actually taken a cue of understanding what I was trying to drive at, surely we could be having...
Yes, an organizing secretary, that was a job.
Yes, we could be having a different setup altogether. But hence I'm saying, the problem is the kind of leadership that finds themselves on the helm. And I still believe that one day we'll get the right leader to lead MDC, and that leader will be able to bring all the opposition forces together. And once that happens, we'll be able to beat some people.
But we hear from the party itself, MDC. If you see a party which is dominated by lawyers only, Mr. Bhebhe, with all due respect, have you ever had a party which got all the leadership which are lawyers? You don't have doctors, you don't have engineers, you don't have farmers, you don't have ordinary people. You believe that someone who's there has to be an advocate, someone who's there has to be a lawyer. What type of a political party is that? Is it representing the interests of the majority of the people?
Well,
why are there no ordinary people in the leadership of MDC?
No, I won't say that. That's to me, that's not correct. Could have been, we have a situation where lawyers are occupying certain positions within the political party. Let me give you just an example. If you go to MDC T as led by Kupe then, within the top hierarchy, there is this talk about people, attacking lawyers because, they will be. Remember, a lawyer is actually a celebrity before he becomes a politician. He's already known before he becomes a politician. So it is now easy to follow through until you get to politics and you make such conclusions. But those that are not lawyers, who maybe
why I'm asking. I expect these lawyers, as learned as they are, surely they should know what the Constitution says. They should interpret it properly. If you see the constitution of the party being violated by the people who are supposed to be custodian of the law, you see these lawyers doing this. Look at now, 2018 elections have gone and passed 2.5 years ago. But look at the time you spent in courts, how long you spent in courts, back and forth, the bickering and all that. You are playing with the people of Zimbabwe. People of Zimbabwe, they'd hope in you, Mr. Bhebhe, and your party, but look at what is happening now. Now they say maybe now, 2020, December, everything will be solved. We'll see the two factions together. We'll see Bhebhe organizing a huge congress and Mr. Bhebhe contesting. If he wins, he's the president. If Chamisa wins, he's the president. If Kupe wins, he's the president. There you are again, bickering and divided, and there's nothing going to come out. It's going to go to 2023 again. The same story happens again and again. What do the English people say? What does the English people say? If you do same thing over and over again, what are you?
It will take one.
What are you? If you're doing same thing over and over again.
No, remember, a group of people is not about what are you, but I'm saying.
As a party, not you as yourself.
In this case, it will only take the right leader of a political party to make sure that people are brought together and a party is reformed so that it is working for the.
Do you think this can be?
Expectations.
Do you think MDC can be unified?
Oh yes, it's very possible.
MDC can be unified.
Yes, it is.
With all these factors.
Let me give you an example. In 1979, there was a strong feeling, a very strong feeling that people did no longer wanted the war. You would actually approach an old person, they will all say, we are tired of this. They wanted everything abandoned, they wanted everything just to continue as it were. But it only took one person to convince everyone to go and sit at Lancaster House and come up with an agreement. An election was held and independence was brought.
And then what did they, because that was the British. The British themselves wanted their own person,
again,
Robert Mugabe.
What
Yes.
I'm trying to give you an example is it will again take one person.
How, Pepe?
The how part of it is a process.
Which process?
If it was an
People,
easy answer,
Pepe,
if it was an
Pepe.
easy answer like what you would want an answer,
Yes.
surely we could have actually solved.
So let's say 2023 we rule out.
I don't think so.
When are we going to have that unity?
I don't think so.
Do you think you can bring
I
the
don't
parties
think so,
together?
because
People
MDC
healing.
was formed in 2000 and 3 months down the line it contested election and it got 57.
Yes,
It
because
is
of what?
possible.
Because people had hope and faith in that.
They still have hope.
With this MTC.
They still have hope.
Which MTC?
No. Hold on. It's not about. See, don't interpret that with this MTC. They are raw or rotten eggs within a basket of MTC. The process that we want to implement is to make sure that the rotten eggs are removed from the
Someone might accuse me that I'm being
Yes.
sent.
Give me one country in the world where a politician is not arrogant.
Yeah, but I'm talking of getting together, united. Because you are telling me that you can be united and have a proper leader.
Yes, this is what I'm saying. If you give me one country in the world where politicians are not arrogant, I would say yes.
No, but we don't see
But
this.
all
We
politicians
don't
by nature,
see this.
all politicians by nature they are arrogant.
Yeah.
But other countries have managed to have their revolutions perfecting itself up to a level of a democracy that can be accepted by all. We are still in the process of building that process of democratizing our nation until everyone accepts that we are a democratic state.
Do you think yourself, people on the other side, people Marshall, who have accepted that you lead the MDC?
I want to destroy this notion that
Answer yes.
Yes.
No,
Let
answer
me
yes.
destroy
Yes
this.
or no?
No. I
Will
don't
they
want to
accept
answer
you?
yes. When the group of people that approached me there was a group of people that approached me to become a candidate, and amongst those people that approached me, I think there were about 21 of them. 17 were Shonas, and only 4 Ndebeles. That on its own, to me, shows that to Ezra. If ZANU-PF
So people of Zimbabwe should just lose faith now.
They should continue fighting.
Because at the moment,
there's no such time, Ezra, where you know that this is going to be achieved at this time, at this hour, at this date. No set time. A revolution has got no set time. If revolutions had set times, surely maybe God could have come and saved this all this.
Okay, so all right, Bhebhe, before we finish, the state of the economy. Why don't you think all the parties in Zimbabwe need to get together and try and fix the economy? People have suffered so much.
It's not possible to fix an economy if it's like trying to tell me that you want a pastor and a thief to go or a pastor, a thief, and a martyr to go and preach at the sermon, and the people will be confused because if you try and put the three together and say they are preachers, one will say, I cannot listen to that one because he's a martyr. One will say, I will not listen to that one because he's a thief. One will say, I will not listen to that one because he's a pastor, because he will have come to listen to a martyr, or he will have come to listen to a thief. So you can't bring the two together and expect that you are going to solve the people.
So how to solve this?
Remember, the authors of economic destruction in Zimbabwe is ZANU-PF. And you cannot expect that ZANU-PF will be able to have solutions that
so how to solve this? How to solve the problem?
The only solution for Zimbabwe is to 7.5 million is no longer there.
What do you mean?
I mean exactly that.
You've chewed the man already, which you got from the government.
Well, unfortunately, if ever it was chewed by those that chewed then. It is chewed the money, but all what I can say is the money is no longer there.
The money to have been given. These are taxpayers' money.
Yes. It's unfortunate because in terms of the act itself, that money is supposed to be audited by government. But ever since they started dispersing that money, government has never bothered to audit it because obviously ZANU-PF is abusing the money and the MDC has also joined the abuse of the money.
That's why I'm saying that you are the same as the DNA of ZANU-PF. This is the son, father and son. Parties which are taking people's Zimbabwe for granted.
Unfortunately, there are some of us who have got no DNA as ZANU-PF, and there are many of them, including yourself, maybe possible, you might be a sympathizer of MDC, you don't have that DNA. So it only takes one day, those that are sober will be the ones leading the organization. And once that happens, that will be.
What do you think Tsongra will be saying today if we're seeing all this?
Well, all I would say maybe is telling in his grave.
Gibson Spanda.
I don't even talk of Gibson Spanda.
Whole chamber.
Good men.
All these people. Of Fletcher. Sad, baby. Sad. Very sad.
It's sad, but it does not stop the revolution. That's all that I can say.
Okay, we have been listening to Bhebhe. He's fresh from the courts, so he's stopping the MDC Congress of 2019, which is scheduled for this weekend in Kwekwe. Preparations are shapy, so there's nothing going on. So Bhebhe has decided to stop. He contested Bulawayo and won, and afterwards he was suspended and been told that he has been fired. But the Bhebhe, as you know him, is a fighter. This is a war vet, you know. You in Zebra.
Yes.
He's a war vet. So he keeps fighting. So he's taking it up to the higher court to challenge them to stop the Congress on Saturday, the 19th. So we'll wait and see what happens. We'll try to get to Madam Kupe if she agrees and put it through. We carry this through her and hear what she says. Obviously, that is if she answers my calls. You yourself are very lucky that you to answer my calls even at 3 a.m. You don't run away from me, and I know where you stay. Just like I did today, just popping around with that notice. And I found it here, despite your workers saying, no, you can't go through. But me, I walked through to Bhebhe's office. I want to thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I wish you good luck. And the people of Zimbabwe deserve a leader. And I think you are one of the best who can take the movement forward. Thank you, Bhebhe. Thank you so much. Bye.